I just finished watching the Buzz Lightyear movie, so let's talk about it. Honestly, if you've been in the internet over the past couple of days, you know that this film has been rooted in controversy. Even though this film is tied to one of the most successful animated movie franchises of all time, once it is all said and done, mi pana, this is going to be remembered as a box office flop. Listen, this film debuted over Father's Day weekend, which you'd expect would have a solid family turnout. Animated movie, beloved franchise, it makes sense. However, Lade, the math isn't mathing. Only 38% of the people that went on opening weekend were families, which kind of explains why the film landed at a $58.6 million launch, instead of the expected $70 to $85 million gross. That's a lot of numbers, but essentially, yeah, the first weekend sucked. Worst of all, however, is the fact that this movie has essentially pretty positive reviews, and yet it still opened second behind Jurassic World, which was in theaters for around 2 weeks at the time. Looking at the competition, it's not even going to get close to the main competitor right now, which is Top Gun Maverick. That bad boy is still racking in the dough and is probably going to hit over $1 billion in revenue by the time this video goes up. With the money, the moolah out of the way, we still land at the same question, familia. ¿Qué es la que hay? What is wrong with Lightyear? To answer this question, we have to start from the top with a question of our own. What was the purpose of this film? For all intents and purposes, this is essentially functioning as a prequel, legacy, spin-off film of one of the franchise's most important characters. And yet the question arises, was it necessary? Think about it this way. I'm gonna do a little experiment with you right now. When I say Buzz Lightyear, what do you think of? I'm gonna give you a couple of seconds, ruminate, think about it. While you're at it, like this video, share it with your friend, and obviously subscribe to the channel because, you know, we like that, papi. But boom, give me your answer. If your first thought was Pixar, Toy Story, or even Woody, that's exactly the root of the problem. Buzz Lightyear as a character will forever be tied to a larger universe within Disney Pixar's portfolio, which is, of course, Toy Story. At its core, this franchise is centered around an ensemble of toys. And yes, while this film offers a little bit of perspective on the sci-fi origins of one of these toys, right at the opening credits, it's still trying to tie it to the franchise. Because this is the movie that Andy saw, which inspired the toy of Buzz Lightyear within the Toy Story universe. Lots of continuity webs are being etched, but essentially, you know exactly what's happening. At no point was this movie sold as its own separate spin-off sci-fi adventure. It didn't necessarily have to do that because we know that it's going to be tied to Toy Story. That's why we like the Buzz Lightyear name. But again, that's not what this movie's trying to deliver. The theme, the tone, the setting, the characters, the progression of the overall story. It's meant to be a Disney-fied family version of Interstellar, which is not Toy Story at all. However, that does not mean that the film is bad. To me, there are certain highlights that have to be exalted, especially the fact that, mi pana, this thing looks absolutely gorgeous, beautiful, great success. This thing, to me, is in the top 5 of Pixar's entire portfolio when it comes to animation and special effects. Visually, you can see the hard work and the passion that went through making this film. The eyes, the hair, the suits, the facial motion, the spaceships, the textures, and the environments within the planets that we visit. Again, the attention to detail is sublime in this one. I actually caught myself looking at the screen a couple of times, especially during the moments that we saw in the trailers, where Buzz is traveling through space, trying to go into hyperspeed, and I was like, wow, this shit look good. Specifically, I urge you to take a moment when we're exploring the base of operations and we're getting to know some of the new characters that are being introduced, and look at the backgrounds, the vehicles, the suits, the flora, everything looks on point. So if it isn't the premise and it isn't the digital effects, then why is this film flopping? Well, there's a couple of answers. As you know, during the pre-release press run, we were hit with the unfortunate reality that this project was review bombed, even before it came out, homie. And why? Because it has a same-sex kiss in the story. This meant that the movie was banned in China and Saudi Arabia because Disney refused to take that scene out of the entire project. After watching the film, it's less than 3 seconds. It is just the exploration of a new family dynamic that should be normalized in modern culture. But again, that's just my opinion. You can believe what you want. Of course, however, this meant that a vocal minority of bigots went online and social media and absolutely trashed the film before even laying eyes on it themselves, expressing the fact that, oh no, children should not be exposed to a political agenda in a children's movie, even though characters kissing and showing affection has been a part of almost every single major Disney project. And even on top of that, some of their favorite cartoons like Bugs Bunny have been in drag for decades, and we haven't even heard a peep. Regardless of what your stance is on same-sex marriage, relationships, and representation, I personally think that it shouldn't sully the experience of going out there and experiencing something at the movie theater. Or even worse, go online to bash a project for other people that are waiting to see, oh, what is this movie like, because of your personal beliefs. Para mí, the thing that should influence your opinions on a project is just you and your experience at the theater. And of course, the quality of what you see on the screen, which in this case we've already established is pretty top-notch. Of course, there's some positives to go around. Without spoiling too much, the basic premise of the story leads itself to some pretty awesome moments. Buzz Lightyear is going through a redemption movie arc because in his hubris, he ends up marooning most of the crew, and now his goal is to go through an Interstellar-style adventure to to go back into hyperspeed and bring everybody back home. The twists and turns that we go throughout the movie are pretty ingenious, and they do a solid job of advancing the plot and connecting the characters' journey. Granted, there's a specific aspect of the story that changes things up ever so often and doesn't really give you that much time to fully explore every single character that is in the ensemble. But the weight of these heroes trying to develop some camaraderie as all this craziness is happening around them is genuine, and you end up caring for each and every one of them. Chris Evans and the rest of the amazing voice cast like Taika Waititi do an amazing job with these characters. And yes, while we don't have Tim Allen doing his iconic voice performance, it does the job pretty well. Was it life-changing? No. Was it Pixar's best project? Also, no. But to me, it was a rewatchable 7.7 to an 8.2 out of 10. This is allowing you to connect to a childhood character in a way that we haven't seen before. Something that I wanted you guys to remember is the fact that Toy Story 4 had the same issue. Not with representation, but obviously people were a little bit upset at the overall purpose of that story. Mostly because the ending of Toy Story 3 was so perfect that people felt that tampering with that ending felt like a cash grab to a large portion of the audience. So in the end, the explanation of why Lightyear was such a flop, it boils down to two answers. One, bigotry and an inability to accept the progressive ideals that should be normalized at this point in age. And B, a lack of interest based on unrealistic expectations. Again, I am a big fan of going to the theater, enjoying the project yourself, and then giving your opinions, which is exactly the position that I'm taking on this one. If you haven't seen it yet, don't bash it. Just go watch it and then tell us what you think. If it sucks after that, mi pana, then it just sucks. But at least after that, you've landed at the main point of cinema, taking the artwork and giving your own critical opinions once you get a chance to experience them. But then again, that is just my opinion, so let me know what you thought about the film in the comments down below. If you took the time to watch this video all the way up until the end, I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I also wanted to let you know that I have a ton of amazing projects coming out soon. Like, for example, I am embarking on the biggest journey of my creative life, which is going through One Piece. I'm going to be watching it, reviewing it, and giving you my opinions across the entirety of my journey. Some of my friends say that this is the biggest story ever told, and I want to see it for myself. Besides that, you know that I'm doing my streams on this channel and posting them on my Tropical Joe VODs channel, so you can enjoy them all in their glory as they're meant to be. And once I figure that out, because it's only letting me upload 15-minute videos, everything will be housed on that channel. However, if you want some gaming content covering news, clips, reviews, or anything like that, that's going to be housed in Tropical Joe Gaming. I'm going to be making some other channels moving forward because YouTube is going to be my baby moving on. And I wanted to let you know that I have not taken it for granted of you helping me make this my career. Again, if you want to support the journey, this is simple. All you gotta do is hit the like button, share it with your friends, and of course, subscribe to the channel with the notification bells on so you can get instant notice for whenever I post a video or whenever I go live. And if you decide to support the channel with a little bit more spice, we also have YouTube memberships. Basically, it's a tiered monthly subscription that you can purchase to directly support me in my journey. Right now, every single second of those proceeds is going towards my camera because I am recording to you on my phone, and I need a camera to make better videos. Again, it is not mandatory, but it is very much appreciated. That is all it from me, familia, so as always, just crack a smile, ride the wave, and I'll see you on the next one.